Hey guys, what's going on? This is Average Stoner, and I just thought I'd let you see all what I'm doing. I am fixing to try the new tattoo gun, I should say. Where is it? Okay, so right here's the new gun, and it's a rotary pin. It takes these little needle cartridges, opposed to this here, which has a big needle and tube and all that. I don't really ever plan on this gun being used to tattoo actual human skin, so I'm not really, it's just a practice gun. It was about $180 on Amazon, ain't that what it's called? But it's rechargeable, and it don't have a cord, it don't have the rubber bands, it don't have all that. It just has a simple, you put in your tattoo thing and click it, and then you can adjust how far it sticks out by turning the thing here.
I think I would like that a lot better.
What?
That setup.
What, are you gonna try a tattoo?
I think so.
And this here, this particular needle is a 10 9-round lighter, which means it has 9 needles. They are the size, the 10th size thick, and liner means they all come in point. I don't know if you'd consider it a bug pin. I'm learning more and more about it, so I'm not 100% sure. This just seems a lot more sanitary. All the needles have what?
Nothing. What you're doing.
All the needles I've ever used or seen people use had the big rotary gun. And this here, I'll probably rebuild these sooner or later, because this is the eBay purchase that I bought 2 years ago. To be quite honest, if I didn't have these in my cabinet, I would have never reacquired this passion for tattooing. So it's good I had these. But this here, you can see, like, it has the little solid spring here. You want one with 2 springs, front and back, so you can bend them for better speed, deeper penetration. You can see it's all loose and stuff. These set screws kind of go off and on, and both of these guns that I got are actually set up for shaders. They have the longer metal spring part. So whenever I did this last weekend, this was my first attempt at trying to tattoo. I did it with these cheap guns that we got off eBay, coil guns. And this is a rotary pin, so it's all self-contained. Whenever you get to tattooing, having one with the battery and having one with the button, everything equaled weight. This is a lot lighter than this, so I could see how that could probably help one's wrists over time. I used to have carpal tunnel. I had that release surgery, so I should be all right now. Hopefully it don't ever come back. It sucks to feel your arm just gnawing itself off while it's falling asleep and you can't wake it up. But pretty simple. And I've already gotten all the colors lined out here. This is the design. A little Deadpool. That's my man. You can see I'm kind of a Deadpool fanatic. I like red and black. Those are my favorite colors too. So, and he's kind of an asshole, but funny at the same time. I like him. All right, let's go. So,
I don't know how to take this off.
now when I did this, it was before I learned that you use ointment. You put a bunch of ointment on there. And what this ointment is for is to keep the ink from sticking to the skin. So I guess maybe since I'm right-handed, I should put it over here. Maybe, I don't know. Now when you're doing this, you don't want to mess your lines up of your stencil. So you want to do it at the bottom first and work up. So let's see what I've learned here. Our first one is going to be these. I'm just going to go across with some of that ointment. All right, let's get this party started. All right. It's better to start lower. See, this controls how fast it's going. Let's start lower. Oh, no. This controls how fast it's going. I'm going to slow it down. We'll go to 8. See if my hand speed is consistent with an 8. Check our needle throw. Turn it off. Make the needle come out.
Do you think?
Get a little bit of ink up in there. And you're supposed to hold it. Make sure you're getting plenty of ink.
Joe Exotic got re-sentenced to 21 years in federal prison.
Why?
He tried to get his charges expunged, where he'd get released from federal prison, and the judge only took a year off of the original sentence. He was in Grady County, which is our county out here.
Okay. Let's see how that works. Oh my gosh.
This dog looks so tiny.
I don't know, maybe I'm getting this too thick on there. Alright, I better do this before it's gone. So sorry I have to cut the sound like that and have to roll over and do a voiceover on the backside. Main reason I do that is because when the tattoo starts going, a lot of the times you gotta have some music going in the background. I don't really want to get in trouble for copyright, ding, or anything like that. So I figured on these, since this is the Average Stoner channel, in order to narrate them, I'll just get baked before I go for my morning walk and do these voiceovers in the morning when I'm out for my walk. So when I do this voiceover part, it's actually like 21 degrees outside, and I'm walking down the street at about 6:30 in the morning before I take the kids to school. But that's okay. Just thought I'd let you know. But yeah, I get to... This pen is actually a really nice design. I mean, you sit there and you just click in the needle tip and start tattooing away. And it definitely helps that I've been watching a lot of videos, because usually in my morning walks, which is at least 5, sometimes 7 times a week, I watch these videos on YouTube of how to tattoo. I'm kind of infatuated with it, so I don't really think it'll be that hard to learn it. As long as you have a passion for something, you can do it. So that's what we're doing. When I was a little kid, I used to love the idea of tattooing. I mean, I'd get fascinated with watching people tattoo. It's kind of a meditating kind of thing going on there. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt to have to sit there and clean it if you forget to put that ointment on there. That's for sure. But that ointment sure does help. There we go. Tattooing a little bit more here. Really, that's all this video is going to be. It's just me tattooing my skin. If you hang in there at the very end, you get to see what it looks like when I'm done. Remember, this is just my second tattoo in this go around. You know, when I was a kid and I first got tattoo guns and all that, I did a lot on myself, and shoot, I even had my friend come over and tattoo one on my arm. I was like, oh wow, tattoo guns, and just gonna tattoo the shit out of myself. Well, I did, which resulted in a bunch of stupid looking tattoos. I still like that one that you gave me, Kyle, but that's alright. A big black German cross. Yeah, before I got that, I didn't really think that it was any kind of a racist tattoo. I just thought that it was a German cross. I guess I should have read into it a little bit more. But, you know, you get stoned and drunk and you're just like, oh, hell yeah. There's a tattoo that resembles something that I once knew. And I'm German. The other side had a 4-leaf clover that said lucky. So that was my Irish tattoo. And that's the one that's getting covered up. Hopefully it ain't covering up my luck. But let's see. It's real easy when you're doing these tattoos to not breathe. That's something I gotta work on, is just breathing while I'm tattooing. You don't want to mess up, but shoot, just starting up. That's been like the second tattoo I've ever done on these fake skins. I mean, I'm gonna be a little bit terrible at it. And it's going to look a little bit horrible, or a lot horrible, for a very, very long time. It really, really does help to have a better gun. My other guns, you just get them EB. If you ever have somebody that wants to give you a tattoo with some guns they just got off of Amazon or eBay, please say no. Because they don't know what they're doing if they just bought them and they were only like $100 or something. I mean, you could get the actual guns off of eBay for like $20, but you're gonna have to spend another 20 to 30 to just make them to where they produce a quality tattoo if you're any good at it. And then I could see where the 2-year mentorship requirement comes from, because this tattoo, it's not as easy as it looks. It's, you gotta get it the right depth, you gotta get the tattoo going the right speed, the tattoo needle. You got to make sure you have ink on your needle. You have to make sure your hand is going fast enough across the skin to match the speed that you got the motor running at. So therefore, it's a very, very tricky combination, because if you're going too fast, you're just chewing up the skin and cutting big gashes in the skin. Like, it could be like a razor blade. I mean, especially the mag needles. It's got all the needles straight in a row, and then maybe has another stack on top of those. Those will cut you up. I mean, you get going fast enough on your gun and slow enough on the speed of your hand. It's just like taking a razor and going across somebody's skin. And back when I was a kid, I was thankful enough not to even try to use a mag needle, because they just look really intimidating. You got them all lined out in a straight row, and that's going to make a really wide line if you just go straight up and down with it. You gotta have respect for some of these tattoo artists, man. Some of the designs and quality and the vibrancy, how they get that color packed into these tattoos, it's just amazing. Some of the artwork, they can make it so lifelike and so realistic that everybody from around the globe wants a tattoo from these people. Well, you practice long enough and get good enough, sooner or later you'll be able to do the same thing. It's all just a big hurdle you gotta jump over for something that you really want. And I see tattooing as a way to be able to work from home, create my own shop if I ever get good enough, and maybe pass down a skill to my kids if they want to tattoo. Shoot, you get going, get good enough, and get the kids trained up good enough. Shit, you have the best shop in all the land, man. Be like one of them fairy tales out of them books that I read to kids at night. Pretty good. That's beside the fact. We're not talking about reading books to kids. We're talking about tattooing with this here rotary pen. And it's just pumping away at that tattoo, man. One thing about these rotary pens, they don't have as much give. When I talk about give, when the needle comes down and hits the skin, if you're not stretching the skin, there's a lot of guns like them ones that you get off the eBay for the real cheap money that won't penetrate the skin, and they'll just bounce off the top of it a lot when it's doing its rotations, and that creates a blotchy tattoo. Because on the coilover guns, what happens with those is it's a magnet that's turning on so many times a second, which as soon as it breaks the connection and goes all the way down, then it turns off. So therefore, it's a magnet that gets operated by turning on and turning off randomly really fast. And you get the cycles per second which is the needle going down and up. That is one cycle. And your cycles per second really depends on how fast you move your gun, how strong the gun is, how much reach the gun has. And you need to make sure that you don't go so deep that you go through the skin into you want the ink to sit in the dermis, which is the middle layer of the skin. You got the upper dermis and the underneath it. The other two layers of skin are called something else. But as I told you before, I got really stoned before I took off for this walk. And to be honest with you, I've already done another tattoo. I'm just doing these voiceovers on the weekdays. And those are the days that I for surely go for a walk because it wakes me up and starts my day. And then I do the tattoo practicing on the weekend because really, quite honestly, I got other stuff to do than just sit around and play with my tattoo guns, and I don't want to get burned out. You know, there's a lot of stuff that I've done in my life that I get really burnt out on and I just gave up on. So, like, I've done I used to be a video gamer, think I was going to get all good and stuff on video games. And then online came along and you find out that you suck. So you get tired of that. And, you know, I've always fixed stuff throughout my life. I love fixing stuff because it's really expensive to have anybody else do anything, it seems like. Oh. Yeah. You know, to be honest, this practice is about 5-6 hours each time I do it. And I figure if I do it twice a week, which is Saturday and Sunday, you know, do these practices, I should get better sooner or later, I'd think. And, you know, it takes a lot of practice. And with these skins, I found that what I'm trying to do is make it to where the needle don't go all the way through. If it goes all the way through, you went too deep. If it was real skin, it'd be a blowout. And it'd just look like a watercolor under the skin, and it spreads and makes it look like it's soaked into the surrounding skin. So that's definitely a drawback to going too deep. And, you know, tattooing can be really dangerous too, as you get it in the wrong spot, you can get infections and all that kind of stuff. An infection in your tattoo will grow up and make it to where there's a scar there. So the ink will fall out with the scab, which I've found that you can take an incense and light it and get it to a point. And I've actually burned my own tattoos out before. That's another story altogether. Boy, that's worse than getting a tattoo by far. And especially, I don't know about laser treatment, but man, I could imagine that burns the skin without burning the skin, or I don't know. That's some pretty wild stuff right there. They shooting you with a little Star Wars light. Man, that weed really sitting in right now. And I'm really cold. Boogers are frozen in my face. But I'll tell you all what's going on. That's for sure. Yeah, I think on this one it was a 9-round liner, which I did the lines with, which I've came to understand that does a pretty thick outline, and it's a really nice outline. But with my shaky hands, it just doesn't look the best, of course, but that's okay. We don't care about it being perfect because this is fake skin. This isn't being an idiot and tattooing on somebody before I know what I'm doing. That's 100% facts on that one. But I need to get me a Deadpool sticker to put on my gun. That'd be pretty effing sweet. But it's beside the fact. Oh, man. And I found that when you color in the tattoo, oh my gosh, that's such a pain in the butt. Like, you can't, if you're using the wrong needle, you're not gonna pack it in very good. If you're using the wrong needle, you can slice the skin up, because you got your different shaders, and then you got your mags, you got your round mags, which are curved on the edges. It just makes it really horrible, and especially if you don't know what you're doing. It's just ridiculous. In some ways, I think it's stupid that they sell these tattoo guns just on eBay or Amazon. But there's a lot of artists, I guarantee you, like I would have never picked up and started trying it if I couldn't get a cheap gun just to practice with. It's just, some tattoo artists make it look so easy. They're just like packing out them colors, making them designs. It looks realistic as hell, and make a bear look like it's jumping out of the skin to rip your face off. And they just make it look so easy. So you go online and you buy these cheap ass guns that are like Dollar General quality, and then you get it, and you're scarring somebody up for life when you do that, man. Don't do that. If you're gonna buy tattoo guns, especially the coilovers, make sure you buy some guns and watch a lot of videos how to tune the gun and how to do needle depth, and try to find your hand speed, and try to find how fast you need the gun to go. Watch you a lot of videos. Nothing else. 2 years worth of videos. And even then, I hear in some states it's illegal to tattoo, practice tattoo without a license. And you gotta, I think it's across the board of all states, you gotta practice and have an apprenticeship for 2 years. And that is a necessary requirement. Even somebody that wants to get into the field and wants to do a good job, wants to learn something, man, it's really cold out here. But this video, I think, is about over, so it'll be alright. See how I'm like trying to pack that color in. Now, I did find that you want a new needle for the white. That white, it didn't work. So, and I gotta get used to putting the ointment on before I start to tattoo. See, I used the same needle, and I thought, well, I'll rinse it out and it'll all be good on that white eye. Well, the problem with that is the red ink stained the needle, so therefore it didn't all come off. So now I got a stoned Deadpool tattoo where it looks like it's really high. Boy, it's really intimidating when you sit here and you just start tattooing, and eventually you figure out that you're not as good as you thought you were. I don't know what I was thinking before when I tattooed myself up before knowing what to do. That's ridiculous. Please don't do that, people. Especially if you're stoned. Don't just think you're Superman and can do whatever you want, because that's not a very good idea. You're gonna put something on somebody's skin you're gonna regret for the rest of their lives. And if you're doing it to yourself, that's pretty much like cutting off your legs to win a race. You know, you need these skins. I mean, they're only like $20 for the cheap ones. You get like 20, 30 of them. They do have different quality skins. I got this from Amazon, and I got a big old thing of them, of like 22 of them for like $20. And to be able to practice, it's worth the $20. It's nice to have a little bit of money to be able to spend on a craft or a hobby that you may get good at, which right now that's all this is a hobby. It's something I'm interested in and I'm trying out. So, I mean, the gun was $180, which that's a nice gun, so therefore it costs a little bit more. And it's nice because I recharged it after the weekend. I did 2 big old tattoos like this on one charge, and it still had 50% battery, which both tattoos is about 3 or 4 hours worth of tattooing. Sorry, my sinuses are just like congesting up. But, you know, gotta have that music when I practice. And I don't want the music to be on these videos, and somebody will flag it and say, oh, that's a copyright. So I just cut the sound out and do my walking. But this is what it looks like, guys. Did you see how it looks real color saturated, but it's not really all that color saturated. What I'm doing now is I just, on these fake skins, you notice how I do the date and I do lines there. Also, what I'm doing is I'm putting what needles were used on the tattoo skin, so I can refer back to it to see, because eventually I'm going to get a stencil machine which makes the tattoo stencil for you. Now, the biggest benefit to that is it replicates how thick the lines are, and they are exact. So I definitely recommend having a stencil machine on down the road. I will be getting one eventually, probably waiting until after I get my free money from my receipt pal and stuff. I'm about to $100 on that. Stencil machine's probably about $150 if I don't get the latest and greatest. Latest and greatest is about $500. And then there's some that's over $1,000, just like the guns. There's some tattoo guns that's over $1,000, and I may never own one of those. Or if I ever actually do get my apprenticeship, that'll probably be the reward that I have after I achieve my apprenticeship and start my own business. That would be sweet. Being a tattoo artist just lines up with my way of life. You know, I'm a handyman, but at the time I can't really do handyman stuff for other people because I have a 3-year-old that only goes to school for half a day, so therefore I can't go running off and fixing people's stuff while I got him, because he'd be all up in their stuff as well. And you know, I started remodeling the house, and hopefully within the next couple years we'll be able to get out of that and sell it, and I make a pretty good profit on it. So, but that's a slow progress, and especially when you live in it, that's for sure. You see, this is pretty much done. I skipped ahead. If I wouldn't have skipped ahead and clipped out a bunch of the video, this video would have been 3-4 hours long. So it's just to let y'all see my progress and how my practicing is going. You know, average stoner taking up a new skill. which I really don't have time for, but I do have a passion for, so I can make time for it. Oh yeah, look at that. That's tattoo practice number 2. My little Deadpool riding my unicorn. I love Deadpool. There's the original. Thanks for watching.
If you
Like,
like the
subscribe.
video and want to follow my process, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.